The movie is Mickey 17, which was written and directed by Bong Joon-Ho. The film follows Mickey Barnes, a man who's down on his luck, desperately hoping to get away from Earth after running into trouble with a particularly violent loan shark. In order to get a spot on the spaceship heading off on an expedition to colonize a new icy planet, Mickey volunteers to be an expendable. As an expendable, Mickey's job is essentially to die repeatedly in often brutally painful manners, only to have a new version of himself printed out after each death, keeping his memories intact. When Mickey 17 is left for dead and miraculously survives, the expedition crew has already printed out another version of him, Mickey number 18, leading to multiple Mickeys and a cascade of problems for both of them. I've been waiting to see this big budget sci-fi / dark comedy film by the brilliant Bong Joon-Ho for a while now. It was initially set to release in March of 2024, then was delayed all the way to January 2025, then was further delayed to April 2025 before finally settling in March 2025. I think the one thing that may have made the wait truly worth it is Robert Pattinson's performance. He plays all the different versions of Mickey, but primarily Mickey 17 and Mickey 18, which are surprisingly quite different characters despite being copies of the exact same person. They both have totally different voices and even mannerisms. He gave both of them such unique personalities that play off of each other so well and form this hilarious dynamic that ends up feeling like a really funny buddy movie. He is unbelievably good in both roles and characters that he somehow made feel completely fresh, despite the massive range he's already displayed from his other films. His acting alone is worth the ticket price for this movie, and I encourage you to go see this one in theaters just to experience how awesome the characters that he's formed are. The visuals and set design were also fantastic. There was a lot of retro futurism throughout the ship that made it just feel so authentic and real, which I just loved. I also really liked the creature designs, which, although they were CGI, managed to be disturbing but also kind of adorable. But unfortunately, overall, I felt like this wasn't Bong Joon-Ho's best work. Not to say that it was a terrible movie, but I just left feeling somewhat disappointed because I had extremely high hopes for this film. While it had its fair share of very funny moments, some of the jokes and satire were incredibly heavy-handed, which I'm sure was intentional, and I can even appreciate the intent, but for me, it was just a bit too much at times. Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette had some very funny moments as the absurdly evil and shockingly dumb political overlords, but as the film went on longer and longer, I found their characters less and less funny. I don't think it really had anything to do with the acting, but more so that the characters were just so cartoonishly outrageous that the jokes started to feel stale, and the long speeches and scenes with those two felt a little bit awkward and boring towards the third act. It was also just kind of all over the place in some areas. There were a few plot threads that popped up that were either never brought up again, or were only very briefly touched on, and ultimately were never fully resolved. There were a ton of different ideas that came up, and while I very much appreciate the ambition there, they just didn't all completely come together in the end. It kind of felt like the movie should have either been longer to culminate all the ideas and connect all the dots, or shorter to cut out some of the extraneous jokes and subplots that weren't integral to the key themes. Despite this movie not living up to my expectations, it's still a movie that I'd recommend people go see in theaters because of Robert Pattinson's acting masterclass, the strength of the visuals and set design, the relevant themes and messaging, as well as the thought-provoking premise. While I didn't think it was as good as some of Bong Joon-Ho's other works, I've seen a number of people who completely disagree with me, so I encourage you to go see it in theaters while you still can, and let me know what you think. So go watch Mickey 17. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, please share it with a friend, add a comment letting me know what you thought of this movie or what movie you think I should review next, and subscribe to my channel. I put out a movie review each week, so subscribe to stay tuned. Thanks, y'all.